Welcome to episode 35 of Avant-Garde Entrepreneur. I'm so glad you're here today with me, my friend. We are in the middle of a series featuring special avant-garde entrepreneurs who I consider to be friends and who have a lot of wisdom to share with you. This is part 2 of a 3-part interview with David Wampamba from Uganda. David is the CEO of Ablestate. It's a company where he connects top-tier firms around the world who need web development with top-tier designers who he teaches and trains. And he empowers them to have the job of their dreams. David is an IT consultant, a technical writer, an app developer, and a web designer. And he's also the author of a book on coding called A Complete Guide to Industry Front-End Web Developer. Most of all, David is a mentor, and he is an advocate for girls in STEM. He's paving a path for young women and men who may lack education or even a computer to have a dream job in computer engineering and software development. What makes David most unique is not what he does, but how he's gotten to where he is. He has an incredible story of resilience and perseverance. And the reason why we're making this a 3-part interview is because he has so much to share. Like many of you, he started off very disadvantaged in many ways, and he has made it, and he's developing an incredible life for himself. Most of all, he's pouring into the young people in his community. So I am so excited for you to hear more from David Wampamba of Uganda.
Of London Capital College. It was really cheap, and you could study for 9 months studying software engineering there. And the reason I went for software engineering is that two people one was a neighbor who went to university to study IT, a bachelor's of IT. The other one was an internet cafe owner. So I asked them, I like the PlayStation, but it's expensive. Do you think I can make mine? And then both of them told me that people called computer scientists, software engineers are the ones who do that. So I told myself, since I cannot afford the PlayStation, I have to become a software engineer.
I'm going to make my own PlayStation.
Exactly.
That's when the ignorance of youth is a wonderful thing. Yeah.
Yeah. So I was looking forward to become a software engineer, and I looked for schools that teach these things. And when I went there at the school, they asked me for my computer certificate. I did not have, because they expect that you've done some computer course somewhere. I do not have. They're like, okay, in your exams, in your A-level exams, do you have any a subject for computer? And we look at the results, at the marks. And I'm like, no, at my school where I went to school, no, they don't have a computer. We don't have computers, so we do not study it. And they're like, with your age, your background, we don't encourage you to take this course. Please don't take it, because you perform poorly and you hate your life. And I'm like, no, you guys, I was like, whenever I've been going to the internet cafe, I've been studying something, I've been researching. So I was like, give me an interview. I remember I went with a friend, by that friend, God forbid, he passed away some years ago. I went with him. I mean, a lot of people loved me. I can tell you, a lot of people were happy and loving me. So I could always get a helping hand here and there through friends. And this guy who escorted me, when we reached there, he was like, yeah, let him get the interview. So I did the interview and finished it in incredible time. I think I took it had 1 hour, but I think I finished in 15 minutes.
Oh, wow.
And the guy was like, they started marking it, and the guy brought me the paper and he said, you failed, so we cannot take you on. I got disappointed in my life, in myself. And I walked away to go to leave the school. He told me, no, don't cry, don't. here you are, you've passed.
So he was joking with you?
Yeah, he
Oh,
was
that's
joking.
mean. That's terrible. If he had any idea what you'd been through, he would never do that. That's terrible.
Yeah, so I went told my dad I'm joining the school that I
Uh-huh.
passed, and this is the fee. And he was like, okay, the fee is okay. So I joined, but unfortunately, life was difficult there. Most of the students there were adults than I. They had the computers I didn't have. I could walk like 5 kilometers to 6 to go there to study and come back home. So it was really difficult.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't graduate actually. I did exams, but it required you to pay some fee for you to pick your graduation results. And apparently we did not clear them. So I did not get my diploma. But I decided to continue because during the time I went to this school, I was also seeking for jobs in internet cafes, and luckily one person gave me an opportunity to work as a cafe attendant. This is where because in that cafe a lot of foreigners used to go there, especially Eritreans, Sudanese, Kenyans, so they did not know the local language, and that's where I got the chance to practice English and improve in English.
And you, all this time, you did not have a computer of your own. So something that many people just take for granted, we just have. You are going to school and doing everything you could in computer science and software
Yes, I did.
engineering, and you did not have
Yes,
a computer.
yes, I did the exams of the software engineering in C, in VB, and Java, and C++, without ever having my computer.
Wow.
Yeah,
Amazing.
by that time we could do some work at the school computer, save it on a floppy disk, go home, come back with it, come back with a floppy disk which is dead, and you've lost the work because they were really, I think, low quality or something.
Yeah. So you would do the work, put it on a disk, floppy disk.
Floppies.
Remember those floppies? Wow. Haven't thought of those in a long time. That's like an 8-track tape.
And this is around 2012 around there.
Yeah.
So what happens is that when this person gives me the opportunity to work in the cafe, I learned a lot of things. Like I told you, I was a tinkerman. See a radio, open it. See this, open it. So at the internet cafe, I read and studied everything about a personal computer. Everything. So in the process, I became one of the best people to troubleshoot computers. Yeah, I remember students from university, because where I was working at, actually, before going to that place, I remember a friend of mine gave me a job to work in his video library, which I worked for about 1 week, and he could not, it wasn't making money. So he referred me to his auntie who had something called a secretarial bureau. And in the secretarial bureau, you do typing work. So here I developed touch typing skills.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And she really liked me. She was really supportive to me. I'm the first of our employees. She confessed that, David, you're a trustable person. She started leaving me the job, and even I had some customers ask her, where did you get this young man? Very honest, very fast at typing, and friendly, and so I was loved there. While there, I regained some self-esteem. I worked there for about 9 months or a year, and I lied to her that I was going to study driving because I feared telling her that I've gotten another job.
Yeah. Yeah.
He tried to convince me, you can go study driving while you come at work. But I was like, no. My father told me to do this. It's
You do what you have to do. Yeah.
So I
Yeah.
went to, after I had learned typing, learned to talk to people, learned a bit of HTML, from there. And when I joined the internet cafe, I learned more about hardware, continued learning about HTML, programming language, and CSS. Believe you me, by the time I was studying HTML and CSS by myself, I didn't even know that I'm studying HTML and CSS. I was just looking at how can I make a button on the computer to click something.
Mm-hmm. That's it.
But I was determined to do something. So luckily, I learned a lot there at the internet cafe, and I started getting jobs from other people, like computer repair jobs. My computer's failed. Could you look at it? And I'm like, yeah, I can look at it. So I had started earning some money, some extra money, besides the one which I was being paid at the internet cafe. By that time at the internet cafe, I was earning about 20 to $30 a month.
Mm-hmm.
Then so earning that, of course, it wasn't enough, but it's better than where I was in the past.
Mm-hmm.
And then I started earning more from the work I do as a repair or as a computer technician. I also got a friend along the way called Martin Senyonga, who was really addicted to computers, and he had his own workshop where he repairs. He is the person who gave me my first CPU control unit.
Mm-hmm.
He gave it to me, and he gave me some other spare parts, and I assembled my first desktop. I think I assembled it in around 2014 or around that time.
So Martin gave you the CPU, and then you started assembling the desktop.
Yeah, actually gave it to me. He first gave me a motherboard because I was really this person who touches the computers to repair them, and they work. So people from my neighborhood, people from Martin's neighborhood, they liked me. Martin's clients liked me. So it was like, David really, he's going to take long to buy a computer. So I think this motherboard is lying here. David, maybe you can take this and start assembling. Before you know it, I had done some other work for him. I don't remember which, and he gave me the CPU, the control, the boxing thing, which had the other parts. Then I bought the hard drive. Then when I told my father was passing by where I stay with my auntie, and she was like, "What are you up to? I no longer see you home anymore." He was like complaining, but he didn't know that for me, I had already started adventuring for my life. And I told him I work and I want to buy a computer. So he gave me some money, 50,000 Uganda shillings, which is equivalent to about $20. And he told me, okay, if you want to buy a computer, you can't buy your computer.
He thought you could buy a computer with $20 or 50,000. Yeah.
Probably.
Yeah.
Oh,
you don't know.
So this helped me. I added it to what I had and bought other components until when I got my CRT monitor and put the computer in my bedroom.
So the monitor was the last step.
Exactly.
Yeah. Wow.
And this helped me learn more. And how I got the job at the internet cafe, a colleague of mine made a mistake. This internet cafe we were going, they had CPUs, but they reached a moment when they had a lot of customers that they added to expand. They had to expand. So I think the owner thought that it would be better to add in laptops. So he added in laptops. And this colleague of mine and his brother connived and stole one of the laptops.
Oh. They stole one of the laptops. Yeah.
When I went there to the cafe, I went to serve. They arrested me.
Oh, no.
Because they knew I was the one who was very regular there. And since I was very regular, if I don't have the laptop, someone else, I know someone who has it.
Oh my gosh, you got arrested. Wow.
Yeah,
For stealing a,
but by them, not the police.
yeah.
So, so I, I, I had no idea about it, and they were like, "No, David, you have to tell us who, if you are not the one, or else take us to everyone's home." And I was like, "Let's go." But I knew that the moment they hear it where I stay, I'm gonna be battered.
Hmm. Hmm.
They wouldn't wait to hear that you don't have it.
Yes.
Every guardian wants to show the other guardian that I discipline my children. So
Hmm.
so I was really scared to hell, but luckily, before my people got to know it, there were some adult men who were friends, and they were really on my side. They were telling these people, "This guy cannot do that.
Hmm.
So please be lenient on him, and let's be there for him." So the cafe owner was like, "It's okay." So we went to one of the neighborhood, and they were bitter. "No, how can you bring people here? It's impossible." Their mother was like, "No, no, no, it's impossible. My children can't do that." I was also not saying that her children has taken, but
Hmm.
so we left their home to go to another home. But as we were going to another home, the cafe owner said, "It's late in the night. We shall do this tomorrow in the morning with the police, because I've realized these family people might be unhappy with
Hmm.
us." And what happened is that uh, one of the kids from this family which we had left came running to me, and he said, "David, we took the laptop. Here it is. You take it." So he gives me the laptop so that I take it and claim that I'm the one who had taken it. So I was in the middle of two parts. Should I take the laptop and have my first laptop? Should I take it back? If I take it back, they are going to say I'm the one who had taken it.
Hmm.
It was really a difficult time. But I
Wow.
but but in the morning, I told these people, the laptop is not mine, and I'm not the one who took it. So I'm going to take it there, tell them that someone gave it to me. And if they accept it, they'll accept it. If they don't accept it, we shall come to your place.
Hmm.
So this kid, because they were a bit better, well off in terms of financial, so he gave me some money. I don't remember. I did not count it, but it was a lot of money, not of 20,000 shillings, several of them. And I refused it. And I took the laptop to the cafe person and the cafe owner. He was happy, but he told me, this case is at police. To remove it, you bring the person. So I
Okay.
came back. Yeah.
So
So
they
I came
try
back.
to make sure that I understand. So I'm following you. So the guy tried to give you money to keep quiet and you didn't take it. And you were just trying to get the laptop back.
Yeah.
And the cafe owner said, basically insisted that you say
Yeah.
who gave it to you.
Yes.
Wow.
So yeah, you got it clear. So I did come back to my colleague, told him that they have promised me they are not going to arrest you as long as you go and confess that indeed it's you. And he was like, "No." He gave me more money. He said the other was little that we were giving you yesterday, but this time this is more, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, "Still no, let's go." And we went. As soon as we reached the cafe, started crying. He thought he was gonna be taken to police. So the cafe guy advised him that never do this again, because this David is coming from a poor family and he couldn't do that. You are coming from a better family. When you do that, it's really bad. So he advised him a lot, and they gave me 3 minutes. There were very many for the internet to access the internet cafe.
Wow.
There
So
were
you
very
probably learned
many.
how to type fast because you were constantly on a countdown. And now you have as many minutes as you want.
Exactly. So you know what
uh,
that means. So I've spoken a lot. My story is long,
yeah.
but later I founded my first company
Mhm.
in 2010, as it was offering IT services. and we could not succeed on the fourth year. We closed it because we went into business, and we poorly managed it due to we started it on a friendship basis in terms of team. And you know what that means. When you do something wrong, no one is there to advise you. They are afraid of breaking the relationship. So we failed to manage it, and it failed after the fourth year in 2014. Then in 2014 still, I joined a company which was started by my cousin brother, and I became a co-founder. It is a printing agency. It's a print and graphics design agency. It's still existing, but I'm no longer active. And then, but since I was a child, I've loved to teach others. I've loved to share what I know. I remember my auntie, even when I was in primary, she could invite me to her home so that we can read notes together with our children. And they were going to better schools, but I could perform better. So that's why she was inviting me in. So I love to share. Like, you see, this was supposed to be like 15 minutes introduction. It is now in hours.
Well, it's your story. So before we go too much farther down the path, I want to circle back to a couple of things. So one of the things that you said early on is that, even when you were a child, you just wanted peace.
Yes.
And I think that is something that when as we become adults, we forget what it was like to be a child. And your subconscious, who you become, is basically wired into your subconscious by the time you're 6 years old. And so all the, whenever children are spoken to negatively, like you were, and a lot of children are, when you feel like you're not good enough, it hardwires those things in your brain. And many people everybody takes whatever happened to them up until they're 6 years old. It basically goes on into their life, into adulthood. And that's where a lot of issues, people have limiting beliefs and doubts about themselves. And it's really fortunate that you, despite, especially from a father figure, how much you felt like you weren't loved, it's really amazing that you had these people that came into your life, like the one teacher that you talked about. I think his gift would probably be hearing this interview. He doesn't need money. He needs to see who you've become today. Your aunt, some of the friends you've had, the people who gave you the job in the internet cafe. It's amazing when you look at the thread of, as a child, you just wanted peace. And as adults, we just want peace. And you had these people that came along, and you had these short windows of time where you could start to unwire and rewire some of the negativity that you had so that you can, I'm sure that the person you are today is not the same person that you were when you were 14. You've needed to have time and people. And I think a lot of times we think success is about achieving things. And in many cases, it's a combination more of being in the right place at the right time and having the right heart and being open whenever someone comes your way. Because, when you think about your dad, when he's the male figure and he treats you a certain way and you respond a certain way, it's easy to think that every man is that way, because you think, well, this is your dad. He's the greatest guy ever. That must mean that every man is that way. Or that must be how I'm supposed to treat my wife and my children. And it's the fact that you have come through so much, I think, is really important for people to hear, that it's not about necessarily going to school, getting the diploma. It's about being open whenever resources come your way, and being discerning and having integrity, and kind of knowing your line in the sand. You really wanted a computer. The money that guy would have offered would have helped you get it, that kid. And you said no twice. And that you really pursued your dream, and you never even had your own computer. So I think that's amazing.
Yeah, thank you very much.
So you started your first company, and I think this is something that we all need to hear too. When we start a company for the first time, it is very common to start with your friends because that's who you're around. So you're hanging out, you're sitting out in the inner cafe or wherever, sitting outside. You're like, oh, we should start this. I can fix these and I can fix that. Super common to start a first business with friends. And when you don't have an education about business, you just go with what you know. So I think if anybody else out there has started a business with friends and it didn't make it, that's a common thing. And you learn from that the next time.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So you started then with your 2014, you started with your brother's company. It was a brother or brother-in-law? It was a printing company?
Cousin.
A cousin printing company. And you're still a part of that. It's still going, but you're not really active anymore in that one, right?
Yes.
And then, so where are you at? Where are you at today? What's happening with you today?
Yeah, thank you. So I'm not in the other company active because I think we grew it to a level that my cousin and the colleagues who are very much passionate about printing and graphics can continue with it. And for me, I'm so much into making sure that others share what I've learned. They gain knowledge, and this is natural, you know. So I can cry tears if I see people going through the same thing I went through in my first company, you know. And two, I feel terrible if someone is struggling to gain technology skills in general, not computer skills alone. If there's anything I know, I want them to know, because I think that it's going to be faster for them to achieve the goal and celebrate. Because for me, I wasn't celebrating as much as I wanted to. I did not know how to celebrate with the little resources. I did not know how to, to pursue the resources for celebration. But when I grew up and I learned about celebration and that sense of satisfaction, I feel like everybody needs to get into this position, you know. So I'm like, you know what? While in this Gagala Graphics, the company we started, that I left, I could still get out and travel outside the district, outside Kampala district, to Jinja district, to Mityana district, to Luwero district, and team up with artists in hip hop. They do some dance called breakboying and big girling. So there is this great guy called Ablestate. You need to hear about him or meet him. You can even search on internet. He's all over the place.
Stature?
Yeah, Ablestate.
Stature.
And someone else called Kawes Mark. So Kawes Mark is like a brother to me, like a brother, like a biological brother, you know, because of where we came from and how we brought ourselves. So Mark branched off and went into b-boying. I branched off and went into computers. So, but we all have this urge to support someone, to share what we have. So he's teaching young kids how to do breakdancing, and I go there to teach them about business. So as I went there to teach them in different places, either business or computers, it beat me that one time I was at Ruwero, it's like a conference. I have a picture, I think I'll share it sometime. And it's like a conference, and I'm addressing them, but none of them has a computer. But I'm trying to tell them what the computer can do, the different parts, and I'm like, am I not wasting my time or these people's time? Because at the end of the day, we are speaking English. Probably, I don't know if they are going to school. They don't have a computer because of where they are. And probably it's going to take them ages to get a computer. But they are pretty attentive. They are like looking at you like, wow, yeah, you know. And I'm like, no, I need to do something, you know. So during that time, I wrote a blog about, I started researching about the cheapest computers, and I wrote a blog that I wanted to use 5 Raspberry Computers has a mobile computer workshop and
Mhm.
go with it in different places. So when I talk to people, I don't know if I used the wrong words, wrong choices of words. Looked like people were not interested. Everyone was like, yeah, that would make a good thing. And the money looked like little, but people could not get out of their way
Mhm.
to say this is $1, this is two, this is five, collectively to buy. So I thought maybe I'm thinking of something that can never work, something that is too big, or something is wrong. So what I did was I started some non-profit,
Mhm.
okay, idea called You Inspire You.
You
I
inspire you. Okay.
exactly. So I
Mhm.
started it so that I can have an avenue or an umbrella where people like in other with other skills we can come together and go to different communities. For me, I would deliver the computer and business skills. For them, they will deliver the other skills. So I went to a colleague who sells used computers, and they sold me, I think, two used laptops.
Mhm.
Yeah, two used laptops. And I remember we did not reach the impact I wanted, but we did something that is worth celebrating and remembering.
Mhm.
There are these two young people who could come at Gagawala, the company where I'm not active anymore. They are in music, beatboxers. I think you know beatboxing, that
Mhm.
thing where,
Feedback. Yeah.
yeah, 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 they do
You
that.
can do it for
Sorry.
us if you want to. I'd love to hear
Oh,
it.
I'm shy. But I'm not good at it anyway. But those are good at it. So they used to come and I taught them about social media, about computer skills at our workplace, and we were using these computers. I borrowed that money that I used to buy the two computers from a savings group. There's a savings group which I'm part of even up
Mhm.
to now, where we used to save money, and the amount you've saved, they can loan you two times that money.
Okay.
So the amount I could get as a loan could only allow me to buy used,
Mhm.
not brand new. And then I have a good colleague who could escort me. He carries one computer, I carry one, if we want to go to the community. So we taught these two people, two young people, about computers. They are brothers, actually, they are related. We taught them. Then after teaching them, we went to a certain community, which is a community of a church. We went there, we taught them every Thursday, Friday, and I think Saturday. We carry our computers on the back. We go to them because they did not have,
Mhm.
and we taught them until when we gave them certificates.
Oh,
You
that's
know,
amazing.
yeah, I'll share a picture with you of those
Oh.
certificates. You will see people. What really amazed me in this place is that there was an old gentleman about age of my father,
Mhm.
50. He was by that time he was 54.
Mhm.
But what encouraged us is that even when the younger people were confused and never wanted, sometimes they come to study, sometimes they don't, this guy kept showing up.
Mm. Hmm.
It gave me room to reflect. And I'm like, if someone is this age and they want to learn, you know, it means there are many people who really deserve to learn and want,
Mhm.
but they maybe not have the service.
Mhm.
So, so that encouraged us to go back and back and back until when these people graduated.
Mhm.
But unfortunately, the laptops were old enough, so they couldn't take us any further.
Mhm.
And they started failing.
Mhm.
And yeah, we couldn't do much but to pause. And during the pausing time is when I reflected, because this was non-profit.
Mhm.
I'm borrowing, I'm spending transportation to go to the place to teach. You have to eat and all that. I'm like, should I just stop? What
Mhm.
should I do? And this is when I thought, you know what? I think I need to start a business
Mhm.
where we can earn and as well as teach.
Mhm.
Maybe we can earn, and if we earn, we can use the earnings to teach. and I one of the colleagues, one of the members of the communities where we went to teach
Mhm.
the computers, where we used to go with the other laptops, he loved how we taught. He loved
Mhm.
me, and is actually right now is an ordained pastor.
Mhm.
And I told him about the idea of starting this business, and he was like, David, I'm with you. So he joined me,
Mhm.
and we started now serving people. I mean, we started thinking of building this other company, and we started Ablestate Creatives Limited
Mhm.
in 2019.
Wow.
By this
So,
time, yeah,
David, I want to, before we start on the business part,
yeah.
I want to circle back to the nonprofit side. First of all, I did not
Mm.
realize that you had started. I knew of UBU, but I didn't realize it was a nonprofit.
Oh,
Something you said is so important for other people to hear. You
mm,
said it did not have the impact we wanted,
yeah,
but some good things came out of it, especially like the two brothers.
yes.
I have not once have I spoken to someone who has a nonprofit or who has a nonprofit initiative and said, we had all the impact we wanted. It
Okay.
never, ever happens. When you have a heart for people,
Mm,
if you and you want to do things for people, you never feel like you're doing enough, or you never feel like the program was impactful. And I think it's important for people to hear this, that someone like you says this, that if they're saying it, it's and I'm saying because I've talked to a lot of people and no one has ever said they've had all the impact they want. It's important to focus on the impact that you do have. And I think that because if you don't, then you'll quit. But when you focus
mhm.
on the impact you do have, then you have
Yeah.
these amazing ideas like, let's start a business.
Yeah,
And then when you
yeah,
have a pastor who says, David, I'm with you. Oh my goodness. Talk about the
yeah.
importance of your allies and your mentors. And
Hmm.
you're always, even as you're teaching others, you're always being taught. And sometimes you're even being taught by your students. But that's a whole
Yeah, yeah.
nother topic. So I didn't want to go past that without people who are in the nonprofit space hearing that. It's super important. So you use the feeling like you're not having enough impact, you focus on the impact you are having. And then
Yes. Mm.
you have these high vibe feelings and you get to where you are now. So tell us about that. Tell us more about Able
Yeah.
State as it is today.
Yeah, thank you for emphasizing that about the impact. Yeah, I don't know why everyone feels that way, though that like what I said about the impact, that we did not have the impact we wanted, but we had some impact. Because honestly, we had some two brothers, but also the community we went to, all of them, or 90% of them, completed the program. But I
Mm-hmm.
think sometimes we set targets, or we don't set targets. Maybe sometimes we have this idea, gigantic idea, that our resources cannot take us to.
Mm-hmm.
And because we have that giant idea, we kind of become slaves to it. That
Mm-hmm.
even our approach to achieving this goal changes. So I think this is something that we can think about as we people who, whether we've started businesses or non-profits,
Mm-hmm.
to usually think of realistic ideas, and also, like I said earlier, to celebrate the
The seller, it's
victories.
huge. Yes. That's huge.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because we do become, I've done that more than, wow, more times than I can count. I do become a slave to my goals and even if they are quote unquote good intentions to help others, it is so easy to become slaves to that. So it's important to, what you said, set more realistic expectations. And most importantly, what you said, to celebrate the wins. That's huge. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Thank you, Tricia. You've made my life easier in the interview. Yeah. So Now, Ablestate, we started in 2019. So everybody that, remember that I had learned not to just start with friends, or it's okay to start with friends if you know their weaknesses, their passions, their past experience, so on and so forth. Because in the first company, one of us said that for me, I think I'm grown up and I want to move in with my loved one and we make family. And apparently, the loved one is not so much interested in what we are doing. She thinks I'm working with young people, you know. Then we also, on a financial note, in the first company, whenever client paid, we divided the money instantly and everybody used their part. So you do not save for gadgets to buy maybe tools. So when a tool fails or breaks down, you want to overcharge the client so that you buy the tool and you get the profit at the same time. So this is some kind of thefty. I sorry for using that word.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's how I found it. So when we were going to Ablestate, I never wanted such a thing to happen. So the pastor is a friend to me and is someone I've taught about computers and is as equal as young, but then he does not have that much business acumen. You know, I'm better at business than him. And there were also other colleagues. So I proposed to all of them, like I never wanted anyone to say you left me out. So I proposed to all of them, and I used the sense of passion and intuition to determine who is willing to go, who is not willing, you know. So many people said, yeah, this is a good idea, David. You know, when you teach people, they will pay like this. When we teach like this, they will pay like this. You know, everyone was, yeah. But then when we decided, let's start, we need to rent an office, people started moving backwards because now you need to rent an office. That means you need to bring financial resources together. The pastor stayed. He stayed. Yes. And we rented at a place which was not very near our home. That place required us. It was at the lake view. I'm a person who loves water. I love nature. You know, I love that background I see behind you because it's green. I love this one because it's a map of the world. That makes my world. You know, don't be surprised I don't have them here. Yeah,
I'll send you the website.
Yeah, so I'll get them soon. But anyway, so pastor stays, we bring money together with him, we rent a place. Now, there are some colleagues who kept on coming, you know, as business partners. So they come, we reach a moment where we want to really, because I was the one working on the curriculums, it's too intensive. So I wanted others to support in legalization, formation of company, you know, so sort of all of that. And pastor didn't know all about this. So, but for him, he could at least be like your second man.
Yeah, someone
Where
you
you
trust.
send me, I'll go.
Yeah.
Where you send me, I'll go. You know, things like that. So others just shied away. And when we reached the level of registering the company, you know, when you are registering, you now want to distribute shares. Now, this is when people are like, you ask them, so there's a trick. I don't know where I learned this trick. It's like a scorecard where you write 5 things. Yeah, I think I learned it somewhere where we went to be funded and we were not funded, but at least I learned that. The guy told us of time, market, capital, and idea. Those are 4. So time, capital, labor, idea, and market, which is the most important in business. That's what the guy asked us. And started scratching, and we're like, capital, others, market, And the guy told us, no, they are equal. They play the equal role. So it's like a chain that if they don't balance, the business will never thrive.
Mm-hmm.
So I wrote this on a sheet and gave to everyone and asked them, go and mark on everything, on all of these, in terms of time, your resources and commitment are on 100%. How much are you going to give to every area?
Mm-hmm.
So the thing was, if someone comes with 0 on time,
mm-hmm.
but 100% on capital, we don't take them.
Mm-hmm.
Because we know that this is supposed to be balanced.
Mm-hmm. Oh, wow. Mm-hmm. So how many people did you give this to?
I can say, let me see, like 3 or 4.
Okay, yeah.
Oh, no, not 3, not, it's like 7, because I was talking about those who did not make it.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
like 6, yeah, 6, not 7.
Mm-hmm.
And others, some did not respond. Some responded verbally without writing.
Mm-hmm.
So me and Pastor are the ones who really responded with the writing, because even me, I had to participate. So maybe I'm the 7th.
Yes. You're the responsible one. Yes.
Yeah. Thank you. So by that time, I and Pastor balanced. Ours was balanced, and not fully balanced, but better than others. Mm-hmm. So we did not really tell the others that you've failed, but we just got to know that we are just wasting some people's time. They are not going to be able. And it comes out naturally. You just see people not turning up. To meetings.
Yeah, there's this natural sorting process that happens over time. You find out who's really committed.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So now, Ablestate was, we started, we designed our first logo, and then we had to tell people, we had to find a way of telling people that you inspire, use no more. People felt bad. People were like, no, it was a good name. It was a good movement. But for me, I knew it was really so much on my shoulders that I could not hold it in terms of resources. Yeah. So we started, when we went to register Ablestate, we wanted to register it as Able Nation, not Ablestate. Yeah, we wanted it to be Able Nation. Able coming from a certain programming language, not language, actually, framework or library known as React. Able coming from ability of people, okay? Nation coming from the country, like we wanted a nation. Then we combined them and we gave them to the registrar, and they said, no, this name, no. You cannot have the word nation. So we were like, we looked for synonyms of nation, and we found state. And state was resonating to some of the terms we use in programming. Okay. There's a library called React, and its data, how we handle the data in React, and the behavior is called a state. So we're like, okay, if we do state and we do able, because we don't want this to be ability, to be a long word. Yeah. So we took it as Ablestate, and they said no. State, no. Actually, they even claimed that they knew me, that maybe I was going to start a political movement.
Oh, wow. Think about that.
So we said, okay, let's know. There's a company name and there's a trademark. So let's do this. We say Ablestate Creatives in the register of companies, but people will just use Ablestate as a trademark.
Oh, that's genius. There's always a way around. Amazing.
And they were and when we took our papers, they were like, yeah, Ablestate Creatives got registered.
Wow.
But our website is ablestate.co.
Mhm.
All the social media handles are Ablestate.
Mhm.
And people naturally would call you your first name.
Yeah.
So
Brilliant.
they called it
Always a
Ablestate.
way. Hope you enjoyed part 2 of our 3-part interview with David Wampamba from Uganda. He's the CEO of Ablestate. Don't you just love hearing from him? How many of the things has he said that you can relate to? I'm so grateful for David for so candidly and openly sharing his life and the mistakes that he's made. And it's an incredible journey to where he's gotten today. So thank you, David, for sharing. Tune in to part 3 of our 3-part interview with David Wampamba coming up in episode 36 of Avant-Garde Entrepreneur.